Hi everyone, I am still in Poland, currently in the city of Katowice, and I'm currently inside a monument to the Silesian Uprisings. 3 separate uprisings in 1919, 1920 and 1921. Every pillar is dedicated to another one of these uprisings, and they were against the fact that this part, Silesia of Poland, was at the time part of the Weimar Republic, and the Polish people living there, they stood up against that. They were partially successful. Parts of Silesia were returned to the Republic of Poland, the newly founded at the time Republic of Poland, and parts of it stayed with the Weimar Republic. Down here you can see a raised brick in the pavement, and it's a memorial of another event, the massacre at Katyn. Katyn is a town not far from Poland in currently the Russian Federation, and here a massacre occurred by the NKVD of Polish prisoners of war and civilians. The massacre was for a very long time blamed on the Germans, both by the Soviet Union and by Western powers like the United States, including at the Nuremberg trials. The Soviet version was accepted. There you can see there are 2 dates on this raised brick. One is 1940 and the other one is 2010. 1940 was date of the original massacre, but 2010 an additional tragedy was added to these events. The president of Poland was flying to Smolensk in Russia to visit a memorial in Katyn to these events, but on his way there the plane crashed and everyone inside of the plane unfortunately died. So 2 tragedies related to one place, and that's where there are 2 years on that brick. Now from here, from this monument, you can see a lot of different architecture. You see this office tower in an international modernist style, a stack of glass bricks. Then over there there's a Brutalist arena. It's used both for sporting events, music and other entertainment. This is the Katowice Museum of Modern Art, and over here most people would say it's very ugly probably, but it's definitely my favorite. I can see from here a massive socialist housing development. The name of this housing development, this massive housing development, is Superjednostka, and jednostka means unit, so the name is basically telling us that this thing right here is an absolute unit, and I cannot disagree. Over here behind the petrol station there I found another cool post-war Polish church. I really like the architecture of them. We saw one in the other video, and this one has the feature of the sky behind it showing through the cross in the spire. I think that looks very cool. But behind me is an even more interesting building. It's the former Silesian Institute of Science. You can see it's abandoned. It's a bit of a mess, but I think the architecture looks very cool. Let's have a look at it from the front. I'm here in the parking lot. It's a very evil looking building, even more so now it's abandoned and all of its windows are gone. Trees growing on the top of it, some graffiti inside. I think this thing looks very cool. You can see that at some point they were still trying to keep people out, but they seem to have kind of given up on that effort. So let's have a look inside the property. Wow, this really looks old. This hasn't been used in a very long time. Look at that. It's like I'm back in a Fallout game or something. Just look at the trees that are growing on the roof there. You can see them through this shaft that's letting through some of the sky. There are full-grown birch trees already. Wow, this hasn't been touched in such a long time. the building looks so solid from the outside, but once you get underneath the building, you can see there's a lot of space. There's an area, a whole area like this on both sides of the building, and then there are these shafts providing more space, providing light coming through down to this covered area. Look, this tree is already fallen down. Very cool design that allows for a lot of life underneath the building, I think. Most of the exits to the building have been sealed, but curious kids, I guess, have opened up this one, and even though I'm not a curious kid anymore, curious adult, I can still kind of squeeze through this one and have a peek inside. You can see a stairwell over here. It's not a lot of light, but wow, does it look beautiful with the light coming through from the roof there. Look at that, how mysterious does that look. Wonderful. Look at that light. Let's have a look up. Yeah, got skylights to provide this wonderful beam of light coming through. And a wonderful spiral staircase as well. Great design, such a shame that this building is no longer in use, and if you look at the state of it, I doubt it'll ever be again. Because the design of the building, the first floor, is much greater in service than the ground floor, because the ground floor has space taken away from it by this open area down here. And here you can see one of the shafts that was letting through the light, with the trees up there as well. One of the shafts that we saw from below. You can look through it to the other side. You can look down. I love buildings with interesting designs like this. Here you can see some of the interesting windows we saw from the outside. A very unusual shape these windows have. Not much to see from here. I mean, I can see the church I just talked about, but I'm sure the camera doesn't show well to the trees. And the top floor has more of these open outside areas. Such a wonderful building, such a shame that it's unusable in this state, because it's so wonderful. Alright, I'm going to head back down the magical staircase with all the light. Doesn't look as interesting to walk on it from the top. And it's a bit scary because there's a hole right there. Good opportunity to fall down, an opportunity I'll try not to take. I enjoyed Katowice. I enjoyed it in an architectural way. I don't think I've spent enough time here to get to know it more closely. But the architecture, the variety, and well, this very cool abandoned place, all of that I enjoyed very much. I hope you did too. If you did, you can subscribe for seeing my next videos. Here is the small exit. I hope I didn't grow in size while I was in here. I can still fit through here. Lovely. And I hope to see you next time for my next video. Bye.